Hello and welcome. I am Adam. This is Highly Articulated. Hopefully you can hear me. This is my second time around trying to get this video going. If you can hear me, please let me know in the comments. Because if not, I'm just talking to myself, which most of the time I don't do. Thank you, Payne's Toys Animals. Can't hear you. As I was saying, the first time I tried to go live, I got a brand new setup just in time for 2024. Hopefully it's ready in 2024. I set everything up, sat down, hit recording, or hit go live, and it really didn't work. I wanted to have it set up so that I had this, but the microphone wouldn't work. The camera got all funky. Everything went sideways. So I decided to just go open late style and do a top 10. Now, I'm 100% ripping this off from Dan Larson, Dan in the photo booth. I narrowed it down to these, and I have to further narrow this down to my top 10. And I think I can do it. And I think the pressure of being live will help me. It probably won't. It'll probably make things worse. But I can dream, right? Anyway, I think there's like 17 on the table here as it is right now. Some of them can go, there's some of them where it's like they're on the table because I love them, but are they in my top 10? Maybe not. If I had to do my top 10 of 2023 6 months from now, would they still be there? Maybe not. I have way too many Joes. That's down to the fact that we got, like 60 releases from the classified line. So, there's tons of GI Joes to pick from. I just picked a few and sort of picked the ones that were my favorites. Now, if you are in our Canadian GI Joe classified group, Northern Outpost, you will know that we have done the 2023 figure showdown, where we've actually gone and done like bracket style, 1v1 head-to-head matchups of figures, and the finalists in the 2023 figure showdown in the Northern Outpost Facebook group is actually Snow Job versus Rock and Roll, and those guys didn't crack my top 10 classified of the year. So interesting how different people have different preferences. As you can see, like my favorites are all here, and I probably could have picked more. These were just the ones that were my favorites, right? I don't have criteria for my stuff like Dan does. I'm not basically, if it came across my desk in 2023, it's fair game. Goyle, I think is probably not technically a 2023 release. This Ceratopsian from Creative Beast Studios, Beast of the Mesozoic, is probably not 2023. The rest might be 2023, actually, now that I think of it. I think the rest of them are 2023. So I think we're good. Apart from those. And like I said, I'm not bothered that these may have been in somebody's collection before 2023. For me, it's just when did I get them? I'm really stalling for time because I'm trying to think of the first ones that I might be able to eliminate. The way that I'm kind of looking at it is like I've got I'm counting them as 5 GI Joes because Steel Core to me, is a 2-pack and they count as one. So if I pick one, I get to keep 2. So there is the possibility that I can have 11 figures in my top 10 releases. But yeah, like I said, there's quite a few here. I'm kind of thinking like I might be able to get rid of one of the AWOC ones. We'll sort of see how that goes. Ghost Jaga was sort of a late entry and one that I didn't really plan on getting, but I really love the figure, so when it really comes down to it, he might get bumped. Naruto is another like really surprise. It's I was surprised that he's in there, but that could be a recency bias. It could be that I didn't have him on my radar. Pan might not make the cut. Not a great action figure, but an action figure that I absolutely love. So that's where that is. Robin Hood is a funny one because I know that a lot of people actually really dislike this figure. But anyway, before I get into the top 10, I'm going to say hello to the chat. Paints Toy Samples is here. Nolan is here. Ray Paz is hanging out. Who else was here? Sam Rock is here. Thankfully, I think we might have lost. I think Jay was over on Facebook when I went live the first time around, and he might not be back. But we'll see. Ray Pass says, I thought this would be recorded. Glad it's not. No, that's the thing. I didn't want to do this recorded because I have way more fun when I do these live. I have way more fun when I get to chat with you guys and hang out. So that's where I'm at with that. Ray Pass says, we know which one is number one. You might, and I'm not trying to hide it. I'm not gonna, when we get there, like genuinely my number one has been my number one since I got it in hand. And I really don't, I have no apologies for what my number one is. AI says going against Pale or Leo at number one. Lee 86, no Jada. So the Jada Street Fighter stuff is like, it's killing me. I would love to get the Jada Street Fighter stuff. I know how good it is. Everybody that I know that has it absolutely raves about it, tells me how great it is, how much fun that they are to have in hand. I love Street Fighter. Those figures look amazing. I said to I kind of said not until they do Blanca, and then they previewed Blanca, and I said, well, okay, well maybe not until they do E Honda. I truth be told, I've had those in carts. I actually even had them on a pre-order, on an invoice, and I canceled it. The honest truth is I don't have room for the Street Fighter figures. That's why there's no Jada on my list. Now, that being said, I was hoping that I would get Chester Cheetah in time to make this list because I'm pretty certain that he will be on whatever list he is, in the year that I receive him. So, mark my words right now, my top 10 of 2023, and tune in tomorrow for my most anticipated of 2024, because Chester Cheetah is now in my most anticipated of 2024, and he may make my top 10 of 2024 list. 12 months from now, 365-ish days from now, he may be on my list. So it's not that I don't think those Jada figures are awesome. It's that I genuinely, I don't have a shelf for them. And I don't like collecting things if I don't have a shelf for them. So that's where I'm at with those Jada figures. So yeah. AI Collectible says, I'm with you, but at the point that something needs to go before I jump on them, it is hard because I know they are great. Yeah, and that's the thing. So I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna do my most anticipated of 2024. And I just posted my collection tour, and if I reorganize my collection, which I plan to do in January, and I find that I can maybe free up a shelf, maybe Street Fighter's back on the menu. You know what I mean? Because now that I've seen, and the other nice thing about Street Fighter is that it's not an extended universe. I'm not going to be going after characters that I don't know. I went through the list in my head and I was like, there's probably 12 figures, and 12 figures fits on one of my smaller shelves, which means that there's a possibility that it could still end up on my shelf. But for 2023, no Jada. mm. Ray Pass says, get rid of the boxes. They will clear up your top shelves. Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. If you okay, Ray, obviously you watched the collection tour. Thank you for watching the video. I have some boxes in the office that can get cleared out. I have some empty shelves sort of up above my collection that will be sort of more display shelves where it's almost going to be like a hall of fame. So once those get all set up and stuff like that, there may be room for Jada. I mean, there's room for Jada in my heart. There's just not room for Jada on my shelf, at least at the moment. AI says, sell some Lego. I did and bought a 3D printer. I sold off a lot of Lego. I sold off a lot of bulk Lego, and I was sort of happy to do that to sort of clear up some space. What's in my office is only part of my overall collection, believe it or not. And so we'll see. Like I said, there's still some tweaking to be done in the office. There's still some room for very small shelves, and like, I don't know. I mean, that's the space danger thing, right? Like, how much more can I condense some of these shelves? Like I said, if you watch that collection tour, you saw the shelves sort of up above that have boxes, and then on the opposite side of the room that sort of don't have anything on them. So those are going to get the empty ones are going to get filled up. The boxes are probably going to get scaled back or sort of trimmed down. The vintage Joes are going. Some other things are going, so there's room for a couple changes. The system of shelving that I use in my office has been discontinued by IKEA. But if I could find, there's one more shelf that I need to find that would still sort of fit within, the way I have everything laid out. I've realized I can kind of tweak one thing. So if anybody has the wide but shallow IKEA Svalnas shelf, and two of the brackets, that's all I need. And then I got one more shelf, and then I can change. There's like other things, like that's how collections work, right? It's like it's this very complicated ecosystem that has to have perfectly balanced sort of things going on. But Paints Toys Animals, who just started collecting pretty recently, says, I'm starting to take space danger seriously. It's a real thing, man. And you get to the threshold, and then you either start putting things in bins or rent a storage unit, or selling things. Those are your two options, right? So and I'm going to read a few more comments, and I'm going to try to get into this top 10-ish thing that I've got going on here. And a lot of them are going to fall over if I breathe wrong. So Ray Pass says, I'm thinking more for your son to be Cyberzoic collection. I'm not pushing Jade on you. You are missing out, though. Those figures are incredible. I know. But my mantra for 2023 will carry over to 2024. I can't collect all the things. More on my son and dinosaurs in a future episode. Christmas came and dinosaurs came, and he was not impressed. Ray Paz, Payne. I don't know if I said anything, but that dio you made is gorgeous. The great work. I think he means the dio that you did for the his tank, and it looks phenomenal. So, Brick is late to the party, but he says late to the party. Loving this diverse set of toys. Yeah, now I got to get it down to 10 though. That's the problem. Red XO Mac 5 says, Happy New Year's, everyone. Absolutely. Wherever you are, hope you had a decent year and hope that, 20, even if you had a great 2023, right? I hope that 2024 is even better for everybody. So Nolan says, received a new shelf for Christmas and it's basically full already. Jay, glad you can make it. I couldn't get this technology is not on my side in 2023. Hopefully going into 2024 we can change that. So and Nolan, yeah, gonna have to start picking and choosing. I'm already picking and choosing and I'm having problems anyway, so it's like what can you do, man? What can you do? Brick said Ray Paz is right. Jada Street Fighter are fantastic figures, worth grabbing one, especially at 25, just to get the feel of them in hand. Well, I have AWOC in hand, so I'm not really worried that I'm missing out on great figures in hand. But I do. There is a few. Like I would get. Well, that's the thing. As soon as I get one, Brick, you know this about me, and I think probably a few of you know this about me. If I get one, I'm getting a dozen because I made the list of the figures that I would need to get. And if I get one, I'll be like, well, I better get this one and this one and this one, and then it'll just be a whole shelf full of figures. So I just have to figure out if I can find a shelf for it. Red 5 says, I think I need to get in on this top 10 everyone is doing. It's fun, man. Like honestly, like I've narrowed it down this far. Okay, I'm not even doing the collection, or I'm not even doing the top 10. So Jay says it's actually working. StreamYard is actually putting Jay's name up. This is great. Yeah, absolutely. So let's go. Let's go. Let's get this going. Ray Paz has to ask Brick, are you live tonight? He is. I'm pretty sure he is. And Brick, I think you're without a co-host. If you need a co-host, I might know somebody that can help you out with that. Anyways, let's go. Let's get into the top 10. I'm still trying to figure out. Okay, GI Joes. As I said, I'm gonna do this sort of Dan Larson style. In the photo booth, I'm gonna agonize over who makes the cut and who doesn't. This is me sort of narrowing it down. I already got rid of like Beast Gohan and Orange Piccolo, and I also got Android 17 this year, which is a fantastic figure. But he's an older figure. I got the superhero Piccolo, but I have multiple Piccolos, so it's sort of like, is Piccolo that much different than the last Piccolo that I got? And is it worthy of being on my collection? Is that a recency bias thing? That's where it becomes very difficult. So I'm going to start with GI Joe, and I think that there's probably one or two GI Joes that I can get rid of in this list. There's a couple of them that I love for a number of reasons, but objectively, maybe they're not the best GI Joes that we got. You know what I mean? So maybe they can get eliminated. Maybe not. I'm already I'm struggling. I'm already struggling. Okay. I'm trying to just get rid of one, and I can't get rid of any. GI Joe came out with so many figures this year, and they're all great. There was a couple duds. I guess Falcon was a bit of a dud, but so I got the GI Joes, and like I said, I'm counting Steel Core as one, but I've effectively got 5 different releases. If I can get that down to 2, I think I can almost do my top 10 with what's left on the table. Mecha Leo from Heat Boys is definitely going to be in the top 10. It's not one that I play with a lot because it's so big and bulky, and I don't have a shelf for it. He kind of sits all on his own on that island of misfit toys. The Ava Ceratops. I love the Ava Ceratops, but I think the Ava Ceratops can go because the Ava Ceratops is a placeholder for Cyberzoic. The Beasts of the Mesozoic dinosaurs are fantastic. This thing is awesome. It is beautiful. The articulation is superb, for a dinosaur. When you're used to static models of dinosaurs, having an articulated mouth is something that you see in some of the Mattel stuff, but to have full articulation in the legs and the tail and a head that can look up and look down and all that kind of stuff is amazing. But I think part of my excitement for this particular dinosaur is that I know that there's sort of this sort of leads into, or sort of like bleeds into, um most anticipated of 2024, I think. So I think the Avaceratops can go. I'm going to put him to the side. He's not. I mean, he can come back. He's not going to come back. I'm not going to let him come back. Can I eliminate a Joe? Can I eliminate a GI Joe figure? I should be able to, right? It shouldn't be this hard. I think Snake Eyes. This is a remake. This is a redeco. This is a repaint. It's such a good, like, it's just so unique, and I love Snake Eyes, but I think he can go. Um, because again, I think what I love about that figure is that it's a Snake Eyes that I've never had. Objectively, it's probably not even the best Snake Eyes. So I think that he can go. I don't think I'm going to miss him that much because I've still got a bunch of Joes. Maybe can I get rid of another Joe? Can I get rid of another Joe? Maybe, but what's going on in the chat? Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Jay says get rid of all the Dragon Ball Z as the start. No, I don't want to get rid of all the Dragon Ball Z. I can get rid of Pan. I'll get rid of Pan. She's super super cute. But I think that's one that's a cute factor overload more so than an action figure overload. Ray passes, yeah, Jay helping already. Sam Rock, that Leo is such a cool figure. It really is. And I wanted a representation from Ninja Turtles, and I went through the Super 7 Ultimates, and I technically got the last Ronin figures in 2023 because AI Collectibles told me that I had to. And they're phenomenal, but I think it but they didn't make my top 10. They're great figures, but they didn't make my top 10. This guy, on the other hand, like is a very very impressive figure, and a ton of fun. Allison Troy is here. What's going on, Allison? How are you? Good day. Brick says the one four-legged beast is going the way of the dino on the list. Yeah, it's a placeholder, I think. So I think if that was, I think a Cyberzoic is definitely going to make the list once they're in the line. What does the plastic feel like on the dino? It's very very different. It's very very. It feels heavy. It feels really like it's a really really solid dino. And well worth. If you're into dinosaurs, the Beast of the Mesozoic stuff is without a doubt the best stuff you're going to get. Like if you've had a Mattel dino in hand, they feel okay. The Beast of the Mesozoic ones like feel legit. Yeah, they're very very nice in hand. And Ray says Snake Eyes just a repaint. Yes, exactly. So I don't feel terrible having that one out. Let's see. Wesley K, who's I think a new name. I'm not 100% certain. One of the Beasts of the Mesozoic Tyrannosaurs would have lasted longer than Avaceratops. And I don't have any. That's the other thing. The Avaceratops is the only one that I have, and I only bought that because I'm sort of all in on Cyberzoic, and I couldn't wait. So if I had had some of the others in hand, that might have been different. I've said it before. I'm not really a dino guy, but I absolutely love Cyberzoic. I'm really really looking forward to that stuff. Um, Brick says my membership lapsed because no, it did not. It lapsed because there was a weird change in Google AdSense, and they made it so that people couldn't renew their memberships. It's not on you; it's on me. I just kept ignoring. I kept ignoring the emails, thinking it was either a scam or spam. But anyway, Nolan says, "Wonder why it does that. Why? What does what? I don't know." Um, um, let's see. Let's see. All right, let's see if I can eliminate one more of these. What am I at right now? I'm at, if I count steel core as one, I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I only have to get rid of 4 more. Oh, shoot. How am I supposed to get rid of 4 more? Okay, there's some that are definitely gonna stay. There's some. I think Naruto is out, and Naruto is out because Naruto was a figure that I bought because my kids love Naruto and because I love SH Figure Arts. This is a great figure, but it's the only Naruto figure that I have. So this is a little bit of like an Ava Ceratops kind of scenario, um, where this is a really great figure, but I don't know that if I had to sell off, everything but 10, I don't think he'd make the cut. So he is out. Um, yeah, so there we go. Yeah, Jay says Wicket wins. Let's go. Wicket is an awesome figure. He's definitely going to be in the final 10. Allison Troy, did Chuckles get cut? He was a childhood crush, so if not, I vote for him lasting as long as he can last. He's still here. He's right here. You probably didn't notice him because he's in disguise. He's incognito. He's got his sunglasses on. He's got his headphones on, and he's off to the side there. But yeah. Anyways, Chuckles is a funny one. He's in the list because I absolutely love Chuckles as a kid, and he's one of my favorite action figures that I've ever owned in my life as a kid. In Classified, there's a couple nitpicks that I have. It wasn't as good a release as I wanted it to be. Um, um, one more Joe's got to go. Who's it gonna be? Ah, oh man, this is really hard. I think, I think it's Steel Core that's gonna go. The Steel Core figures are great. Again, there's an element there of I grabbed them and they were in my list because I never had Steel Brigade figures as a kid. I didn't get the mail-aways. I only got one as an adult, which made me sort of love them maybe more than I should have. And so getting them in the Classified line, I was very excited, but it was maybe the excitement of sort of having Steel Brigade anew that sort of had them in there, and then it was a 2-pack, and we got uh, a lady and a man, which is always good. I think these are my 3 top Classified figures for the year. Wicket's still in there. Gohan. Well, okay. I think Gohan gets cut too, and Gohan gets cut because, and I just sort of clued into this and realized this. This Gohan isn't the Gohan that you can buy. This Gohan has a cape that came with another figure and a head that came with another figure. So you got a head on Gohan, obviously, but the one that you got did not come with these glasses. And part of what I love about this Gohan is that I bought a lot of other figures that came with like an additional head or the cape or something that made this figure feel more complete. Um, and so in the same way that his daughter Pan has been eliminated, Gohan gets eliminated. So let's see. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I only need to eliminate one more. Okay, let's stall a little bit longer. Lexion's back there as well. He's hiding out. Pale is here. I only need to eliminate one more. So let's take a look in the chat. Ray Paz, I hated Chuckles. Now I love that figure. How many people have AWOC on their top 10? My first figure for this line was Ancient Ash. That is a great figure. And Ash has the same head as Lexion, but the head on Lexion is phenomenal. It's a fantastic head that you get on Lexion with the paint apps and stuff. Check out the last episode of Monkey Business where I talk about how much I love this figure. Despite him not being on my initial order, he wasn't even on my radar at first. I thought he was one of the more boring figures, but now I absolutely love him. Ray Paz, it's not an easy choice with all the figures Joe released. Tons of great stuff. Yeah. Nolan collects. What's going on, Nolan? How are you, man? I haven't watched your list because I didn't want it to influence my list, but I'll be watching it later today and probably commenting. Nolan says, good call on the trunks. I love this Trunks. Mine has, the kind of loose hip problem. But Trunks is my favorite Dragon Ball character. So I was super, super excited to get this one. I'm excited to get the sort of Super Saiyan, the armored up version of him as well. And maybe that Trunks will make it into the best 2024. We'll see. But yeah, this figure's great. And the fact he's going to be in the top 10. There's no doubt that he's not he's in for the long haul. So he's not really at any risk there whatsoever. Who is left? Who is at risk? I feel like I should eliminate one more Joe because that's an easy choice. That's like such a, I mean, I guess that's a bit of a cop out, but whatever, it is what it is. Jay says all the Dragon Balls gone. No, they're not. Trunks is still here. Sucker. Nolan says on his, you're ruining it for me. Don't influence my decisions. On my overall list, Lexion was top 5 for me. Man. Now I'm not gonna let that influence my decision. But Red 5 or Ray says that I would do, if I did top 10 toy lines, AWOC would be my number 4. Red 5 says AWOC was a sleeper hit, definitely high in my list. Yep. Brick says I got AWOC on my number 2 and 15. So you did. So he's done okay. So we'll probably find out soon enough why he has BEST instead of just the word best. Okay. I didn't, when I think I put it in my watch later list and I didn't even really look at what it was, but it was just it was Legions only. Okay. Are you doing your top 10? Are you going to do a top 10 like across all lines? Hopefully. I want to see it. All right. Ray Paz says I would have got rid of Jaga. That's a tough one though, because it's a really great figure. Okay. So it's between Jaga and a GI Joe, but because I don't have any Thundercats and because I only have one other Super 7 in here, I'm sort of giving Jaga the benefit of the doubt. Now it's not an action figure that I'm going to play with, but it's an action figure that looks dope, and I really, really love that figure. It's between Tripwire and Grunt for me. And here's the thing: if Tripwire had come with this, like with one of the Snow Job rifles, or I think it's called an XLR-15 or something like that, I would eliminate Grunt and be down to 2 Joes. But this is hard. This is too hard. It shouldn't be this hard. Again, like these 2 guys. Okay, let me move these guys front and center because I'm gonna eliminate one of them, and I just have to decide which one. Let me just make some room here. Let me move Trunks over here. Let me move Wicket. Let me move Robin Hood. Let me move Goyle back so that I can sort of frame this up a little bit better. Okay, so here's my struggle with these 2. I got Tripwire and I got Grunt. We're gonna do a head-to-head with these 2 guys. And I'm going to eliminate one of them, and then I'm going to be down to 10, and then I can put them in order. So let's see where we're at. Ray Pass says, why? It's Super 7, no playability like a statue. Yeah, but for Ghost Jaga, I don't need him to pose like an AWOC character. You know what I mean? Like that's why. Because I love the Super 7 Ultimates for what they are. Now, are they Animal Warriors of the Kingdom figures? Will this translucent Ghost Jaga stack up to like some of the translucent figures that I'm gonna get, in 2024 or maybe 2025? Probably not. But he's the best translucent fig. Oh, you know what? He might not be. I think Plunderlings. No, but there's no paint apps on the. There's not. No, he's staying in. He's staying in. He's gonna be like 9 or 10 on the list. I'll be totally honest. He's gonna be 9 or 10 on the list for the reasons that you're sort of suggesting, Ray, or the reasons that I'm pretty sure you're thinking of. But he's great. He's just great. Okay, so these GI Joes, I got these 2 that I got. Tripwire is a figure that I didn't know that I wanted as much as I did until they sort of revealed it and showed me how much stuff he comes with. The fact that this is named after a friend of mine bodes very well for Tripwire. The fact that it came with a pet companion as well is pretty cool. The fact that this helmet and the gear and the number of ways you can set this figure up is all reasons to keep him in. Okay, 2 things. The only 2 things are, I wish that he had come. It's a deluxe figure. I wish he had come with a rifle of some sort, or just sort of like one more weapon to sort of go with him. He couldn't carry it, while he's out mine detecting. He's got his sidearm. That's cool. That and a little bit more as far as paint apps on the armor. Those were my nitpicks. So that's what it kind of comes down to. But there's so much cool stuff going on, and there's so many really cool details about that guy. Now Grunt surprised me a little bit. Grunt is awesome. There's better paint on his armor, but is that all there is? Did he get that rifle? And his helmet's really good too, but we're getting consistently better and better helmets. Whoop, sorry about that. Okay. Is it Grunt or is it Tripwire? I think Grunt's got to go. Because he's a little too generic. There's nothing. That's tough. But anyway, okay, he's out. Am I at 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I'm at 10. Now I can do the order. Brick said, who's the friend? Yes. And Ray Pass says, Christopher McLeod, aka Diagnostic 80 of the Full Force podcast. Chris McLeod, MC McLeod, was sort of this robot is called McLeod, MacLeod. But they sort of privately confirmed that he's called that because Chris is called Christopher McLeod. Um, so there's definitely an element there of it gets a couple bonus points, I'll admit, for that reason, because it's pretty cool when your friend gets when your friend gets to be part of GI Joe canon. It's a pretty cool thing. So there's some points there, I think. So Ray, I get the sense that you don't love Super 7. Nolan says 10 with Grunt as an honorable mention. Well, I think that the like 6 or 7 that I eliminated are my honorable mentions. So let's get into the top 10 here. We'll sort of see where we get. As I said, Ghost Jaga is going to be sort of 9 or 10. The AWOC stuff is probably going to be in the top 5. Jaga is going to be 10. I think that's where Jaga is going to end up. Chuckles is going to end up. Chuckles going to end up at. He's going to end up kind of low. There's GI Joes that I'm going to get in 2024 that are definitely going to be higher up in the top 10. Trunks gets knocked down a couple spaces because of his wobbly legs. He's a great figure. He also gets knocked down probably one spot because the jacket design is weird. You don't see it, and it makes for great articulation, but it's still just weird. It frustrates me. Wicket is going to be somewhere in the middle. Leo's going to be, and his head. Man, the articulation on this thing is so crazy, but I don't, like I said, it's sort of on the island of misfit toys. I don't play with it enough for it to get, top 3 or anything like that. It's probably easier to just start at the top. I mean, I know who's this. I mean, this might be harder. This might be even harder than top 10. Okay, we got 10. To get these guys out of the way, they're going to be high up. Ray Paz, the sculpts are great. I just don't like their articulation, especially not at that price point. This had some obvious problems, and it definitely had issues. Robin Hood, the Super 7 Ultimates Robin Hood had issues as a release. However, this guy gets moved up like 3 or 4 positions because of nostalgia. So that's what's going on there. So, Brick says unboxing that Robin Hood made me cringe. Get him out of here. No, he's in the top 10. He's going to be in the top 5 is probably what's going to happen. Okay, I think Tripwire is going to be 9 because, like I said, Tripwire was not a character that I necessarily wanted. He was, and because he sort of got a bunch of points, for the rat and for the robot. I think Chuckles is going to go 8. Chuckles is going to go 8, not because it's a bad figure, but because there was a couple issues that I had. Trunks is going to go 7. Again, because I had a couple nitpicks. Samrock, I feel like most people buy Super 7 for the nostalgia aspect of the toy, not for the articulation. Yes, 100%. It's one of those things where Robin Hood. Okay, if you're not gonna watch the video, I'll give you the Cole's notes. When I was like 4 or 5, I made cardboard cutouts with like acrylic paint on cardboard for all the Robin Hood characters, and to get to get this in hand, like to have this as an option is look, hey, I'm ripping off Dan Larson's setup and sort of the way that he does his top 10. So I'm going to rip off something that he's done this year. He's got that War Duke as like number 1, even though objectively it's not the best figure. That's what's going on with Robin Hood right now. It's objectively not a very good figure. Subjectively, because this is my top 10, he's easily in the top 5. Wicket's kind of got a similar thing going on, if I'm being perfectly honest. I mean, like when you compare this to like some of the others, objectively, this is not a fantastic figure. But I absolutely love Return of the Jedi. I absolutely love the Ewoks, and Wicket is without a doubt my favorite. And I was about to watch Caravan of Courage the other night because I love the Ewoks so much. But there you go. I think because I can't justify 2 AWOC figures, going like 1 and 2. I'm gonna put him at 6, and Leo's gonna get 5 because I just don't play with him enough, so I can't justify him going higher. Robin Hood is going to go 4. Wicket's going to go 3. Goyle 2. And I haven't talked about him. Pale is going to go number 1. Pale's been my number 1 since I got him. I love this figure. This figure goes on wine tours with me. This figure goes to dinner with me. This figure travels with me, and he will continue to do so going forward. So let me sort of rearrange these, and we can chat more. I'm going to try to set them up so that you can still see them all pretty well and have them more or less in the order that I have them in my list. So Goyle's the same. Goyle was like one that wasn't even on my radar. Like if you had asked me in 2013 to do my most anticipated, Goyle wouldn't have been on the list. I wouldn't have mentioned him. The Animal Warriors of the Kingdom stuff would have been sort of the stuff that I talked about the most. Where can he go to sort of not be? And the stuff that was most exciting to me. And as I said, tomorrow I'm going to do my most anticipated of 2024. So if you're interested, in what I'm excited for this year, then please tune in for that. You can move over here. You can shift a bit. Yeah, I mean, it can barely, like Robin Hood can barely stand up. His arrows don't stay on properly. Like, there's a lot going against him. I'll be perfectly honest. There's a lot going against this Robin Hood figure, and despite all that, he's gonna go back here. I don't want to put him back there. Actually, I don't like him back there. I like him in the front. I like him right there. There we go. That's not. I'll spend more time after and sort of take a nice snapshot of these and list it. But all right, let's see what you guys said in the comments. Keep your hands away from Wicket and Goyle. Wicket and Goyle they're not going anywhere, man. They're some of the best. They're some of my favorite figures for sure. Brick, I know you'll do better. Brick says the only thing that would make that Wicket better is if it were the Black Series one. This is the Black Series one. He's just tiny. That's what it's. Do you mean the Vintage Collection one? The Vintage Collection one is like 2 inches tall. Alice and Troy, the first Ewok movie is acceptable. The second one can go to live with any movie starring Carrie Wooher in the garbage. I don't even know who Carrie Wooher is. And I don't know which one the first one is. Is Battle for Endor the first one and Caravan of Courage is the second one? Either way, I like both of them. I think they're fun. Nolan, I'm a little surprised no Mythic Legions or Cosmic. Me too. You know what happened? Dang it. Okay. this list isn't over yet. Thank you for reminding me, Nolan. I pulled a figure off because I didn't have room on my desk. And then when I moved him to a separate shelf from where I had moved all of these guys. Dang it. Xylernian Guard is in my top 10. Oh, does he bump somebody? Yeah, I think Jaga gets bumped. I think Jaga gets bumped, and only because of Nolan. Nolan, it's your fault that Jaga got bumped. I still love Jaga. Okay, Tripwire is 10. What did I have? Trunks as no, I had Trunks as Tripwire, Chuckles, Trunks. Oh, Nolan, you just I was done. I was satisfied. You're absolutely right. I actually had in my long list, I actually had Dubon as well, but I don't think Dubon would have made the top 10, so I'm not throwing him back in there. Dang it. Paints toy samples, yeah. Pale and Goyle are my travel buddies. And Pale is my number one. Jay says Wardu crushes these turtles and Dragon Ball easy. If Jason added some knife scabbards for those curved blades, that would be sick. Weapon storage is definitely something that we have talked about. There will be weapon storage going forward with figures. So, Brick, I thought that was TVC. No, that's the Black Series one. He's just tiny. That's what I'm saying. Like this, like he's just tiny. So, you mean how could you make him articulate better? It's just it wasn't possible. Let's see. Trying to catch up, and then I'm gonna get back to this because I don't know where I'm gonna put Celebrity Guard. I'm stalling again. I'm stalling for time. Let's see. Ray passes. He sucks anyway. Later, Jaga. Yeah, look, Jaga's a great figure. It's just he was on the edge. Like if I did top 11, he'd still be top 11, right? If I was Hatter did like top 13 or something, right? Brick's about to do top at least 15. So it's just a matter of like how you sort of set your stuff up and what you pick. Okay, is Xylernian Guard going to go above or below Lexion? That's really what it comes down to because I don't think he's going to bump anybody. That shield though, and I did buy multiples. Now I'm rethinking everything. So let me pull these guys to the side. They're going to come back pretty much in the same order. It's these three that I gotta. Those three are done. These three need to get sort of reorganized, and then there's those four right at the top. You know what? I think Leo's gonna get bumped because Leo is an awesome toy that I don't play with, unfortunately, and he can go next to his sword buddy Trunks, which seems appropriate, I think. because I get to decide. Then one of these. They're tied for fifth. They're tied for fifth place. No, Xylernian Guard. Yeah, Xylernian Guard. Then Lexion. Then Robin. Then Wicket, then Goyle, then Pale. And that's my top 10. Unless I forgot something else. But I don't think I did. I think I'm good. I think I'm good. So there we go. That's my top 10. And I'm not changing it again. I'm good. I'm good with this. I'm happy with this. Jay says I was ruthless and just did a top 5. That is ruthless. I don't, if I did a top 5, that would actually probably be fine because I'd have 4, and then there's like a whole bunch sort of fighting for 5 through 25. So, Brick, I'm going manga rules right to left. Yeah, fair enough. As I said, there's stuff that tune in for my top most anticipated for 2024 because I think this list could look totally different. Like I don't think there's going to be any. I only have one Black Series, but I don't think there's going to be any Black Series on 2024. I don't know that there's going to be a Plunderling on 2024. I don't think there's going to be a Super 7 on 2024 based on what's coming out. There will probably be a Mythic Legions. There will definitely be an AWOC figure. I don't know if I'm gonna get the next one of these, but if that one, there will be an SH Figure Arts Dragon Ball character. There will be at least one GI Joe, if not 2, that I already sort of know about. It's a matter of sort of what gets delivered, I suppose. But there's my top 10. That's my top 10. So in 10 is Tripwire. I got Chuckles at 9, Trunks at 8, Leo at 7, Xylernian Guard at 6, Lexion at 5, Robin Hood 4, Wicket 3, Goyle 2, and Pale is my favorite figure of the year. And if he could make it onto the top 2024 list, he may hold on to 2024. But I'm not going to do that, so he won't be on the list. So that's kind of the fun of it, is that like everything that I love this year will be gone next year, right? And we'll have to start fresh with a whole bunch of new stuff. So that's what's cool. Is that there's new toys every year. Every year I can do a new list, and every year I can have a new favorite. That I got that year. Pale's going to hold on to number 1 for sure. But Ray passes. I would keep an open mind because you never know. True, but so much of what I buy is on pre-order, so it would be. How much stuff do we buy that gets released, revealed, released, and shipped right away? I don't know. Jay says, what about the Sentry? The Silverhorn Sentry is a great figure, but I don't love the fully armored figures as much. It would, again, it would have been in an extended list. It was on the long list for sure, but it was just eliminated because I was just doing 10. Ray Paz, Chuckles would be my number 1 Joe. Yeah, he's my number 1 Joe too, and he's not objectively the best GI Joe figure. Oh, excuse me. He's not objectively the best GI Joe figure that we got this year, in my opinion. But he is the one that I was the most excited for, and he's definitely a really, really fun figure, and I think they executed it pretty well. I just have, like I said, a couple nitpicks. He would have been higher. He probably would have been top 5 if 1 or 2 things had been a little bit different. But that's probably why he's, in number 9 and not higher, is that sort of thing that, not my Chuckles type of, like, I'm not complaining about this Chuckles at all. I just think he probably would have been higher if they had made it the way that I wanted, which, when I say it, sounds obvious. So, Onyx would be my number 1 AWOC. Very similar to Onyx, I had Blight in my long list, but again, when I sort of, when I decided that I wasn't going to do 10 AWOC figures, it was like, it was a little bit easier to do the list, because I probably could have put 4 or 5 AWOC figures on here, including Blight, including Thane. Who else did I have on there? And then it gets complicated because you get like the armor sets and stuff like that, where you can sort of start kit bashing. The Feralist Stalker was pretty high on my list, to be honest. But because it's an army builder and not a named character, he didn't make the cut. So, that's sort of where that is. Brick something Gladiator Pale for 2024. Maybe that's actually a good call. I'm not as excited about Gladiator Pale as I am for some of the other figures. A Hawkkin or the Mongrel might be my top figure next year. We will see. Let's see. Ray Pass, Fei Long is my number 1. Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I mean, I've heard nothing but good things. So, Jay says Mutton Junkyard will make my top 5. I have a suspicion that Mutton Junkyard might be in my top 5 as well. If you want to hear more, tune in tomorrow, or watch it in replay. I don't want to talk too much about 2024. There's a ton of good stuff. So, Brick says that I've got it. He's saying I've got it the wrong way. That I've got 10 through 1. Now here's the way I look at that. And Brick saying that Brick would put his favorite figure on that side, so that the first one that you see is number 1. I've got mine in the order, like, I'm counting down. So in the way that we read, and at least in North America, not in the world, but the way that we read left to right. So I'm going left to right because I want to go 10 to 1. But then these guys are mixed up a little bit, so it doesn't really matter. Ray Paz, new Man at Arms from a New Eternia would be my Masterverse. Great figure, and with the head can be used to customize a troop build. Yeah, I didn't get any of those either. For the same reason. I know that as soon as I got a couple Masterverse figures, I'd probably get a whole bunch of Masterverse figures. Nolan says Headless Horseman was my number 1. Thane was my number 2. I didn't get my Headless Horseman, so he may make the cut for 2024. That being said, there's a lot of Mythic Legion stuff coming next year, and he probably would have stood a better chance if he had showed up this year, to be honest. If the Headless Horseman, I don't think is going to make my top 10 by the time everything else that I'm expecting for 2024 shows up. Ray Paz, my number 1 line would have been Mafex, and only because I'm a superhero simp and I love DC, especially Batman. So Metacom, Mafex, Batman, Hush, Black Batman version number 1. I got that Mafex Spider-Man. For me, Marvel Legends scratches the itch for the superhero stuff as far as Marvel goes, and I'm not a DC guy, so I've been just avoiding that. But I got the Mafex Spider-Man, and honestly, it wasn't so much better than the Spider-Mans that we're getting from Marvel Legends that I could justify it, so I sold it. Let's see. Brooke said Goyle and Wicket are top 3. Yeah. So I got Pale, Goyle, Wicket, top 3. 1, 2, 3. No. Tripwire is number 10. Tripwire is 10. So I've got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blade Master is incredible. Again, that's down to not going down that rabbit hole. So that's that whole line. Like, there's a whole bunch of those import animals that look amazing, but I just can't swing it. I just can't justify it. So I'm looking at all of these, but I'm also, like I said, I'm also still looking. Everybody else is still on my desk, and I'm like, have I made any mistakes? And I don't think I have. I don't think I have. But but you know, the I think my most honorable mention is probably that Jaga, that Ghost Jaga. And there was just too many. There was too many GI Joes to decide. I think part of why these guys didn't do as well, you know, I think why Tripwire is 10 and Chuckles is 9, is because I had so much difficulty deciding which one, you know, should make the top 10. Um, and it just made it made me question whether or not, you know, the GI Joes were as good as anything else, which sounds crazy, and I mean it is, but that's my sort of crazy. That's the crazy that I deal with. I feel like I can make these look a little bit better, just a touch better. I don't need them that much better, but they're also like, the size is difficult, right? You can't really do much with the small guys make it a little bit more difficult. Anyway, yeah, there's my top 10. That's what I got. Thank you guys for hanging out with me and sort of helping me through this, talking me through this, keeping me sort of from going crazy. Let me know what you think of the list. If you are watching the replay, let me know in the comments what you think of the list. Let me know what your top favorite figure of number blah blah blah. Holy. Let me know what your number one figure of 2023 was in the comments. Anybody that's in the chat, you're welcome to do that as well. I'm curious what your number ones were. If you want to put them in the comments down below after too, that would be cool. Because then I have sort of a reference of people's favorites for next year, and just to chat about in the future. There's no, you know, in doing this, what I sort of realized is there's no wrong answer, right? Like, it's your preference. It's like, what did you play with the most? What did you have the most fun with? Um, and if you're having fun with toys, you're not doing wrong, right? You're not doing it. You're doing something right if you're having fun with your toys. So whatever your top 10 is, you know, continue to have fun with them, and and you're doing great. Um, yeah, fun group of toys. That's what it comes down. A lot of it is fun, right? Like, Goyle is fun. The AWOC stuff is fun. This is you know, fun in a different way. Like, it's fun because it has, there's a connection that I have to Robin Hood, and to get it as an action figure means more to me than it probably does to a lot of people, right? Like, that's, I understand why people would not include this in their top 10. But objectively, the Xylernian Guard is pretty great. Objectively, Trunks is pretty fantastic. Objectively, Mecha Leo. Objectively, this is probably the wildest, coolest thing that I got this year. It's bonkers. They're gonna do all the turtles. If you can only get one, I strongly recommend you pick up one of the Heat Boys Mecha Turtles, because they're fantastic. And then the Joes, they're just going to keep pumping out Joes. They're just going to keep doing more Joes, and that's cool. And I'm here for it. I'm excited for more Joes in 2024. Ray Paz, happy and healthy New Year, Adam and family. Thank you. I appreciate that. Happy and healthy New Year to all of you guys. It's been a blast. It's been a fun year. I've had a lot of fun hanging out with you guys, chatting with a lot of you guys are sort of here regularly. So hopefully you guys can tune in tomorrow. Hopefully you guys get the day off tomorrow for January 1st. Ray says his favorite figure was Mofex Batman Black version. Jay's saying the D&D Goblin. And Ray says there's no wrong answers. Exactly. That's just it. Brick, surprised you had classified so low. I'm not a classified collector, but I'm in awe of that line. It's still a Hasbro figure, I think is what it comes down to, is that it's still a Hasbro figure. He's way up there for the same reason that he's way up there. Wicket objectively should probably be, 8, 9, 10. But nostalgia and emotional attachment, he's at number 3. So Jay, I'm not pulling up your comment because I don't want to remind myself. But yeah, there's my top 10. That's it. That's all. It's been a blast. I look forward to chatting with you guys all next year. Let me hold on. Let me do this and this. Then I can do this. Then you guys can still hear me, but now you can see me. Just hanging out in the dark because I'm using all my lights for the toys, not for myself. And my mic is muted because it will echo if I don't have it muted. So now I'm just using my phone, which is telling me that I have a low battery. So it's time to wrap things up. But let's see where are we at. I gotta do this. I gotta do this, and then I can do this. All right. It's been an absolute pleasure, guys. Thank you for joining me on this this adventure in 2023. This is gonna be my last video of the year. Obviously, it's hours away from being 2024. Sincerely, thank you guys, especially you guys that are live in the chat. It's way more fun for me to hang out when you guys are hanging out with me. We'll do this all again next year. Come back tomorrow because I'm going to talk about 2024 stuff that's coming, or that I think is coming. You guys make this worthwhile. You guys are the reason that I do this. You guys are the reason that, despite all the hiccups and frustrations with the technology stuff, I'm still having a blast hanging out and chatting with you guys. If you're watching in the replay, sad you couldn't join us. Maybe you can join us tomorrow. Maybe you'll join us in the future, but if not, I still appreciate you, and hope that you guys will comment. I like to reply to comments. I like to sort of chat with everybody, or reach out, message me on Instagram if you want. But it's been a blast, and I will see you guys all next year. Happy New Year. Bye-bye. Oh, wait, I'm done.